Hey everyone, this is J-Dog, and I'm here with another video. When I first started YouTube, some of my earliest videos talked about that we should do a strategy that I did was called the critic site strategy. If we're going to control the narrative in the media, that should also include controlling the critical responses or critical reviews of certain film projects and television projects and etc. That we should use sites like Rotten Tomatoes, because I have an account. This is me right here. I have an account, and my score will be added to this audience score that you see before you, but I'll tell more about it later. Go check out my earliest videos, and I'll show you about when I talked about the critic site strategy, because you even saw the critic site saw what the critic site strategy can do when it came to the case of Captain Marvel. Although critics supported the film, there was a number of people who can affect the audience score who have accounts that gave it too many negative reviews that it went under 59. I'll explain that part later about the percentage levels. I talked about that if we liked certain films and shows, or they showed positive reviews of the black community, that we should set up the accounts. Not only do we support it financially or by watching it, that we give it the most positive reviews and help with the audience score or the tomato meter if we're a professional critic. Like I said, to control the narrative, you also have to control the criticism or the positive reviews of certain films and projects. The critical consensus, which is shown right here. I decided to do the strategy because if there was projects that, like I said, were positive, we would try to make sure it got the most positive reviews. If it was a show or film that was a detriment to our community, that we give it the most negative reviews on these websites. This is Rotten Tomatoes. This is IMDb. This is TV.com. This is TV.com. I will show you something. I'm going to show y'all something what I'm going to do when how to work some of these websites. Well, or at least work this one. I want to show you what happens when we can't come together and control the narrative of certain projects. So yeah, if you have a chance, go to my earliest videos near the beginning of my channel. Go to my lineup of videos and look up some of the videos that talk about the critic score strategy. I call it the critic site strategy. So set up your accounts, because I want to show you how some people were fighting back against some of the films, or fighting to support certain films or shows, and who was coming together. One of the reasons why I decided to bring up this topic is because of the Chappelle Sticks and Stones. Now, as you can see here, this is an example of what happens when a fan base of Dave Chappelle decides to come together to defend their icon, Dave Chappelle. Or people who were moved and was not going to have the people who were against it decide the fate. And how you also had the haters, the people who hated the series, the film, or hate the stand-up performance, and try to affect the scores of either both the tomato meter, which is usually the professional critics, those of the magazines and newspapers and news outlets, or the audience score, which is us, people like myself who have an account, the everyday average Joan and Jane, the average Joe and Jay, who decides the fate. See, Dave Chappelle got some criticism from haters because of some of the jokes he talked about, where he talked about the opioid crisis, the LGBT, the Justice Smollett situation, guns, politics in general, in his new special, Sticks and Stones. However, there was also a number of people that were willing to defend him. See, most of the haters were some of these critics from some of these news outlets and handkerchief heads and racists who are working some of these outlets and they came together to get as much bad reviews. However, there was a group of critics who liked the thing. This was one of the critics who actually liked Dave Chappelle, and that is why it is at 17%. 17% is the approval rating, because there are there's a small sector of people who are critics who can affect the tomato meter score that like Chappelle's, because if those supporters like this person right here, Jeremy Jaw, didn't show up, and it was only just these people who hate this thing, this would have been a complete zero. Because there was even an article that said that this stand-up had a complete zero. But luckily, this person, and maybe a couple others, showed up. So only 6 people. If this Jeremy Jaws didn't show up, Dave Chappelle would have remained at 16%. Now, all Dave Chappelle needs in order to get a higher approval rating is more critics who are willing to defend Dave Chappelle, to put in tomato scores with the tomato sign, and that will boost his score up. Now, Dave Chappelle should be very happy at the audience, the everyday Joan and Jay, because they, including myself right here, managed to give it as much high positive reviews. I'm going to go show you my review right here. Is the comedy was great and spoke the truth, because he spoke the truth. That's why I told everyone to go check out the Dave Chappelle, the Sticks and Stones special when I did that one video for Netflix. Now we're going to go to the audience score. Although they don't show it here, a lot of people are actually supporting him. William R. gave it 5 stars and made this comment: hilarious, epic, memorable. Dave Chappelle is the real deal, and this special is culturally and historically significant. Would strongly recommend. Some on the political left need to really open their eyes to the underlying message behind Chappelle's jokes. See, most of it is these Democrats, these SJWs who hate it. But luckily, you have good-hearted people in the audience score who affect the audience score. These people right here are defending him. Best stand-up yet, relevant and hilarious. This is from Stacy C. Anthony C. It is awesome. The comedy that digs and is real, whether it's comfortable or not. It's funny, and why he is the top. And here's, you got more people. See, they were able to come together, even if they didn't do this together, like decide to do it at one time. They were strong enough to come together, defend Dave Chappelle, and his audience score is at 99%. If more people showed up, he probably, or if no negative reviews were made, he would have gotten fully 100%. If you are a professional critic and like Dave Chappelle, you really need to have an account and help him out so you can affect the tomato meter, because he needs your help if you support him. I also was looking at Dave Chappelle. I also did this is me. I gave it a full 10 stars, and it was able to add on to the A.5. He got 8.5 out of 10 stars as the total amount of reviews from different people, including myself, from IMDb. Congratulations. Let's go back to Rotten Tomatoes. 99% is 60 or above in the audience score, which is he gets his popcorn. If it was 59 or below, it would have been a green bucket with spilt popcorn. Dave Chappelle would have gotten a certified fresh, which is this symbol right here, with the certified fresh, if his score was 75 or higher. 60 to 74% would have got him this little tomato. Unfortunately, the critics hated him that his score level was 59 or below, which means he gets this splat. That's the rules of the site. We in the community need to take advantage in using these sites when it comes to certain film and television projects, whether we like them or don't like them. Let's take an example. Luke Cage. If more people showed up, now television shows are different. See, this is the total going by 2 seasons. If more people showed up and put in scores, because I just found something out. I want to show you something, if I could find it. Let's look at maybe season 2. I'm going to give an example. Season 2. Season 2 only has 69, but if more people showed up, let's see, that's my review, 5 stars. Now I'm going to look at the audience score. Okay. See, this is probably why the score is either lower or higher. See, these are just reviews. I've noticed that the score in the past was higher, like high 70, like 78. And for the score alone for season 2 alone was like 70, 72. But because you had maybe this from this past July, these 2 scores probably lowered the score. And these were just reviews that came just these past 2 months. The thing is, the Luke Cage season 2 was released last year. So that means even if a show came on a couple years ago, as long as people are still adding votes, the scores will either go up or go down based on reviews. Now you can make comments if you decided to make an account. If you decide to make an account and go back to Dave Chappelle. Hold on, sorry about that. That's Luke Cage again. Oh, yeah, right here. See, you can make a comment if you want, but the way that the scores happen and determine whether this goes up or down or this goes up or down is these stars right here. Now, the audience score depends on these stars. The critic score, if you're a professional critic, depends on what symbol you give it, a tomato or a splat. These stars right here depend on how high they are or how low they are, determines or no stars determines, and then you total it off. Then they'll total it along with the amount of other critics, and then it determines if this goes up or down. So to keep this up, we need more people to show up as much as possible to help maintain the score going up and not going down. And maybe those same people who, if they support the Luke Cage series, go ads on scores if they haven't, to help boost up the percentage for the Luke Cage series. If you're a fan of Black Lightning, the critics are a fan of Black Lightning because critics came together, or their scores were tallied up together to come up with 93% approval. But you had some people who didn't like the show, and some of them came together, probably some racists, or maybe some people who just didn't like the show, decided to make as much bad reviews as possible. Now, and then this is the score right here. I talked about Captain Marvel, how a bunch of people came together and decided that they were going to ruin the score by coming together, forming as a team, and make as much bad reviews as possible to lower at least the audience score, that idiotic Marvel even had to try to convince Rotten Tomatoes to step in, which was pretty stupid, but I'm sure they fixed some things. And stuff like that. But yeah, if we like certain or dislike certain shows, then we need to also try to defend them here on these critic sites. Let's look at an example. This is another critic site. This is TV.com. Now this is not my I wanted to show you something. Alright. Users, only a bunch of people, including myself, caused this is the Black Panther show that was on BET. Now, as long as my rating is at 6, because only a small sector of people voted on the show that premiered in 2009, is now up to a 6.6. Now watch what happens if I decide to boost up the rating. Now I'm getting it a full 10 stars. I want you to watch this very close. Ready? Ta-da! Oh, sorry about that. I'll move this. You see what happened? Now it's gone up. Now it's a 6.7. My user rating is now at a 7.6. Because it was only a small amount of people that voted on the Black Panther series, my score my rating of a full perfect 10 rating was able to help increase the score. And we could do this if we come together. If we can do stuff like this, if we come together the way those people that were fighting the Captain Marvel movie did, or the Last Jedi movie did, or the people that were defending. There was a group of people that were defending the Bright movie because the critics were giving bad reviews, so they decided to defend the Bright movie. Or we could be like the people here. Instead of fighting the stand-up, they're defending it, and we can, keep the scores going up. So yeah, this is among the many reasons why I decided that, you know what, I need to bring back the critic site strategy, because this can help us control the narrative, because studios, directors, actors, actresses, producers, streaming services, when they determine how they're going to make certain films and shows, or certain games, but mostly films and shows, or who, how actors and actresses do performances, they look at these scores, both the tomato meter and the audience score, and that can also determine what they do, how they do their shows and stuff sometimes, because somehow they get the feedback from us. Dave Chappelle is probably going to do another stand-up just like he did with Sticks and Stones, because he at least has the support of the audience despite the lack of support of the critics. If he's truly about the fans, he's only going to care about the audience score, because it shows the fans are willing to fight with him. Well, they were willing to fight for him and not against him. Which, shout out to myself, and shout out to all the other people in the audience score that were willing to create positive 5-star reviews to help give a positive influence to his special Sticks and Stones. But this is what we need to do more of. This is a way to help control the narrative. When we do stuff like use sites like this, like Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, TV.com, and other Metacritic and CinemaScore and other sites like this, we help control the narrative. And it's time that more people do stuff like this. It is high time more people do stuff like this. So, I want to know what you think. First of all, shout out to Dave Chappelle. I really liked his stand-up, Sticks and Stones. He really did speak the truth. I want to know what y'all think in the description and the comment section. Will you try to do this strategy that I'm planning on doing? To help certain productions when we think that they're being unfairly criticized. I want to know what y'all think in the comment section and description box. I'll make sure you like the video, share this video. I'll probably do another video or even a live stream, because I am thinking of going back to doing live streams talking about this situation. But that's all I have to say for now. This is J-Dog. Thank you for watching, and I hope to catch y'all in another video. Peace, everyone.